If you recall the RDW process, it stands for read the problem, draw, create some representation of the situation in the story, and write. Write a number sentence or equation that shows the problem and solution, and write a statement to answer the question. In class, we worked on many different ways to draw a model of the problem. In this first question, Frederick counted a total of 80 flowers in the garden. There were 39 white flowers and the rest were pink. How many flowers were pink? Many students want to just say, do I add or subtract? If we jump to that answer, we miss the idea of letting a student try to model what is there and decide for themselves if they need to add or subtract. In addition, some non-routine problems will require either multiple operations or a form of operation that they have not learned yet, but they could solve in other ways. So as we look at this, we say, how could I represent this? There's a total of 80 flowers. I could use a tape diagram. I just heard that the total is 80. Those are my flowers. I'll put an F next to it. There were 39 white flowers and the rest were pink. So part of these total is white flowers and there were 39 and the rest were pink. So this is my question mark for right now. My pink flowers are what I'm looking for. Now I could think about my number sentence. Oh, great, that's 80 minus 39. Maybe I'm using compensation in my mind. And so I know that it's going to be just like 81 minus 40. So I know this is 41. Or maybe I'm thinking of this as 39 plus something equals 80, which some of the students in our class did. And then they were able to use a missing add-end approach to solve. Another drawing might be to simply draw a representation of our place value discs, representing 80 as 8 tens. And now let me think, okay, I have a total of 80. Some of these are white, the rest are pink. Okay, I'm going to have to subtract. So now I'm going to think about what I need to take away from here. I need to take away 39. I don't have 9 ones. So I'm going to have to trade in or unbundle a 10 for 10 ones. And then I can take away 9 ones and 3 tens, leaving me with 41. So I can still write it as 80 minus 39 equals 41. I could even use our vertical form to show that subtraction. So I would say, okay, I don't have enough ones. I'm going to need to unbundle 1 10 and have 10 ones. And now I can do both sides. I can do my 10s and my 1s. I'll have 41. And then I would make sure I have a written equation, and then I would write my statement. 41 flowers were pink. Let's read the problem again and make sure I've done everything. Frederick counted a total of 80 flowers in the garden. Can I find 80 flowers in my pictures? Yes. Great. There were 39 white flowers. I have that. And the rest were pink. So that's what I'm missing. How many flowers were pink? 41 flowers were pink. I answered the question. As we go through, students may use tape diagrams, double tape diagrams, chip models, or place value disc models as various ways to represent the problem. They don't need to use all ways, but they can use various ways. Some of the problems will require 2 steps, such as this. Andy spent 71 hours studying in November. In December, he studied 19 hours less. Rachel studied 22 hours more than Andy studied in December. How many hours did Rachel study in December? Students may go about this in many different ways. Some students may first put a letter or symbol for each of their characters. I know I've got an Andy section and a Rachel section. Some students will first show the hours in November. So 71 hours was my November amount. And I can even draw it as a long tape diagram. And I can say that whole thing is 71. In December, it was 19 hours less. And I'm doing this based on what I saw of a student in our class. So they had to figure out how much was the December study hours. And then Rachel studied 22 hours more than Andy studied in December. Okay, so I know that this is the same part as that, which I don't know yet. But I know that I'm going to add 22 hours more. And then the question is, how many hours did Rachel study in all? So I'm going to figure this out. As you can see, students can worry less about adding and subtracting with a method like this, and yet then decide what will I need to do. To figure out this, oh, I need to subtract 71 minus 19 because that's my other part. First, making sense of all of the information using a visual representation can help make sure that the student hasn't left out any information and can double check that their information is accurately considered. So even before we do 71 minus 19, let's just reread and make sure our model matches the situation presented. Andy spent 71 hours studying in November. Okay, I showed November and I showed 71 hours. In December, he studied 19 hours less. So it needs to be shorter than my November by 19. Okay, I don't know how much December is. Rachel studied 22 hours more than Andy studied in December. So this is Andy's December line tape, and it matches here, and it needs 22 hours more. Okay, and how many hours did Rachel study in December? That's what we need to know. So now I see, first I have to subtract 19 from 71. And I end up with 52. Ooh, but that's not my answer yet because I need to know how many hours did Rachel study in December? That was Andy's December hours. So now I need to add 22 hours to Andy's 52 hours. And I see that Rachel studied 74 hours in December. The RDW process can help students think out complex and complicated word problems by visualizing the situation and then considering what operations, even multi-step operations, may be required.